Here we go now.
Hey, here we go now. Here we go now. Hold on, it's Labor Day weekend? Is it really Labor Day weekend? You can tell I work for myself because I'm like, wait, what's a holiday? Is it Labor Day weekend already? Damn. All right. Anyways, guys, welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. This is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Miami. And no matter how you feel about any of these ladies individually, Miami is still bringing it. Fire, Miami's fire. And damn it. I can't even think. Anyway. All right. Happy Labor Day weekend. It's Labor Day weekend? Damn. Vegas girl says it is Labor Day weekend. It sure creeped up on me too. I'm thinking Labor Day weekend's next week. Damn. Where have I been? Yes. Our show says big up to the West Indian Massive. You know, they have the big Labor Day parade here in New York. Isn't it like the biggest parade in the States? My gosh. I will not be on Eastern Parkway. Oh, I've never done it. My siblings used to always go and do it. I've never done it. And I won't be this year either. Because I just found out that it's Labor Day weekend. What is going on, everyone? Shout out to everyone that's already in the live chat. This is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Miami. If you had to rate it from 1 to 10, how would you rate it? I have to say, again, there are certain people I just do not like. I will never like. I do not want to see on the show anymore. And that is Julia. However, overall, despite her being on this cast, I'm enjoying this trip. Real Housewives of New York ladies, take notes if you still have a job. Take notes. This is what the trips are about. Okay? So much fun. And so much drama. And so much childhood just buffoonery. Look, I'm not team anyone on this cast because I feel like Stephanie did wrong. I feel like Marysol, the bros, they were doing wrong. They knew what they were doing. Stephanie lied. How did Stephanie come out her face and lie straight up about Alexia? Alexia didn't want Lisa on the plane. I'm so glad they replayed that moment because I was like, wait, that wasn't how it all played out, right? Right? I didn't even open my notes, guys. Let me open my notes. All right. Be sure if you're watching on our YouTube channel to vote in the live chat poll. But shout out to those of you watching on Twitch. I see you guys in the comments. I'll be highlighting your comments as well. Make sure you're following us on Twitch at twitch.tv/TheKempire. We were live earlier for our recap of the Real Housewives of Orange County. So if you missed it, be sure to check that out. Since I did that recap, the two stylists that Gina mentioned, did do a TikTok highlighting all of the Asian designers and Asian creative directors that they utilize for Katie's looks. And someone in the comment section also highlighted, Gina must not understand that designers, a lot of times, because we've seen this in a lot of fashion houses, aren't necessarily the brand like it's not Louis Vuitton. You know, it's not some, you know, some Italian purse that like sometimes it's actually a design. Like Pharrell is the creative director over at Louis Vuitton. So you just designers could be an Asian designer. I'm not they highlighted all of them. You can check that out. We're talking about Real Housewives of Orange County for those that are just joining us. All right. Where do I want to even begin? It's such a good episode. I was so excited to talk about this. You know, it's not often that I get excited to talk about any of these damn shows anymore, at least. I do want to say thank you, though. Cindy, thank you so much for getting your live stream ticket. Don't forget the Kempire After Dark, the final show of the summer. Damn, it's coming quicker than I thought. The final show of the summer, September 12th at the Green Room 42 here in New York City. You can get in-person tickets, but you know, we have a large following from around the country and around the world that can also watch and attend the show by getting a live stream ticket. Go get your live stream ticket today. Thank you, Cindy, for getting your live stream ticket. We appreciate it. And if you are part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know if you got your live stream ticket. Ticket information will be available in the description. The Brooke Ashley will be opening up for us at this event again this year. Dana, thank you so much for getting your live stream ticket. We appreciate your support. All right, Paula, thank you so much for the super chat. Paula also got her live stream ticket. Paula says, I got my live stream ticket, Cam. Yay, can't wait. It's going to be a lot of tea being spilled. Now with all this stuff happening, we were just live yesterday recapping Real Housewives of Potomac and what's happening over there. So I'm sure a lot of tea will be spilled at this show in regards to that. So if you have tea to spill, get your tickets, all right? All right, too bad we can't have the live chat call in because that'd be fantastic too. Look, soon enough, right? Angel, Mercury retrograde is over. Angel says Mercury's messing with me. My whole computer froze. Look, if you saw my live from earlier, my computer froze too. So hopefully everything's working right now. It is what it is. If it does, you know what we'll do. Okay. All right, so let me just start from the top. This is episode 13, where I don't know how many episodes they have this season of Real Housewives of Miami, but we're not only were we in Spain, we're about to go do a cruise, and I mean, you know, small flex. Marysol knows Richard Branson, a billionaire. You know Richard Branson. I actually really like Richard Branson. He's probably like one of the rare billionaires that are likable. So I was like, but we forget that Marysol was a part of that crew back in the day. She was partying with Johnny Versace, Madonna, Jennifer Lopez, and things like that. People forget that she used to be in PR. So she used to bump heads with, not bump heads, but like, you know, bump elbows with a lot of these people. So I was sort of like, okay, small flex. They still not going to give you a mojito though, Marysol. I don't know why. I don't know why they will not give her a mojito. It doesn't make sense to me because when you think about it, she's married. She actually has a connection to the group. I don't know why they haven't given her a mojito. I don't know. I need to get to the bottom of it. I'm going to look into that because it doesn't make sense to me. She got married to get that mojito and she still didn't get the mojito. Savannah says Marysol was that girl. Yeah, I mean, we forget. But when you see something like this, she can casually be on FaceTime with Richard Branson. Sir Richard Branson. You're like, oh. And for those that don't know who he is, just Google him. Okay? Just Google him. There's just so much that we could say about Richard Branson. Okay. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. I've jumped ahead. Let's start at the top. Julia reveals that Marysol and Alexia are not coming because they're all gathering to meet with Stephanie in the lobby, and they're going to take her private jet 22 minutes. They said it would be a 2-hour bus ride. Honestly, y'all could have taken the bus because then we probably would have had like a Housewives incident on the bus. But I think production wanted to have this whole scuff up about the airplanes. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked that production told Marysol and Alexia, "Don't go on the plane. Let's make it a thing. Don't go on the plane." I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying that they did, but I wouldn't be surprised. Or Alexia and Marysol are trying to self-produce. I would, because to be honest with you, they weren't the ones that Stephanie was considering not being on the plane or isolating them. I agree with them though that it was kind of giving like, okay, girl, all that even for them sitting there, even though they're part of the cool girls that will be included, they were sort of like, okay, I don't like how she's talking about, if they act up, they could take the bus back or they could drive back. I could understand being turned off by that, but I think we all were surprised that they were the ones to be like, we're not going to go. We need a date to ourselves. We also don't like what she's doing with the dangling this plain carrot over our head. We find out, apparently, though, the other part of this that you don't see in the episode, but I saw in the after show, was the fact that the night before, Marysol and Alexia were trying to rally the girls all not to go on the plane. Yeah. So that added more to sort of like the mean girl behavior. Here go the bros again. So they were trying to rally the other women not to go on the plane as well. Again, I don't know why. Look, I don't know why all of a sudden they wanted to flip on Stephanie after they were sitting at the table with Stephanie. I get being turned off because Stephanie is something about. It's hard for me to even pinpoint the adjectives that describe what we're watching when it comes to Stephanie, because we've seen obnoxious rich people on Real Housewives before. We've seen that. I think it's because she's so nouveau riche when it comes to her money. Like, she really likes to act as if like she came from nothing. Well, she did come from nothing, but she came from nothing and that she built this empire. But she doesn't realize she actually is not acting like a rich person. A rich person is not going to be that finicky over, oh, I paid $40,000 to fly 20 something minutes. They don't care because they got it. And that's what we said. All these little things, oh, you can't poop in my bathroom. And so, like, if you got it, you have a flight attendant that's cleaning the bathroom. You never know that anyone ever pooped in your bathroom because your flight attendant got it before you even smelt it. You get what I mean? It's like what Mariah Carey says. It was a joke that she said. I forgot what interview it was. And I forgot she was talking to some other hip hop artist, and they were talking about going in the drawer to take out socks or underwear or something like that. And she's like, oh, you still look in the drawer? So Mariah Carey grew up poor, but Mariah Carey just she fell right into that rich lifestyle. Okay. She's like, you still look in the drawer? You still look in there? Oh. So that's the energy that I get from Stephanie. It's like, you're so new money. And even with new money, it's just like, girl, this is not even really your plane. Yes, you're married to the man that owns the plane, but maybe his daughters actually own it because maybe allegedly he used their trust fund to buy it. I don't know. Okay, that's the rumors on the street. I'm saying it's real, or I'm just saying. But I bet he's not mad about it. I bet he's not finicky about it. I bet he's sort of like, who cares? We'll fix it. We'll get it cleaned. We'll do that. I don't understand it. I don't understand why she is this way. But whatever. So Julia reveals that Marysol and Alexia are not coming. She's sort of like, she's upset about it, but she's not mad at them about it. Which is the hypocrisy, because when you think about the announcement of the boys' adoption via Zoom and Gertie dropping out of the call and trying to get back in, and then they made it seem like, oh my God, it's such a big deal. Your two besties do not come with you on this. You've expressed to them this special day. They do not come with you on this special day. Of all the people not to come on this trip, your besties that you've basically turned over your friendship with Adriana, you decided that you're not going to, they're not going to go, and you're okay with it. You're like, I'm not happy, but I understand. What? All right. So apparently, Marysol thinks that Stephanie, that if Stephanie gets upset, like, this is her logic. If Stephanie gets upset, they won't be able to come back. It's a 2-hour bus ride. First of all, I want to go to Marbella. Anyone else? I was like, where is this? It was gorgeous. It's like we were transported to a whole other place. I'm glad they did. Whoever decided that this was what we should do on this trip, I'm loving it. This trip has been fabulous. You know what I mean? Okay. So, Julia says that she's upset, but she completely understands their point of view in regards to the whole Stephanie aspect of it all. Exactly. Amanda says that she wants to be friends with them by any means, which is sad and pitiful. And this is why we don't need Julia. I don't know. She's had like a head transplant this season because she's no longer friends with Adriana. And sidebar, Adriana reveals in the after show that she signed off more, not once, but twice. I forgot what they call them, but like almost like character letters so that Martina and Julia could adopt the boys. She was a part of like home visits and things like that. So she was a little hurt that she was not asked to be the boys' godmother. But we're flying to Marbella to ask these other friends. And we have to remember, and I know a lot of times the friendships on these shows are pre-produced, they're not real friendships. But no, based on what we're hearing here, if you're signing off and trying to help her adopt these two boys, that says to me that you guys were really friends. So you did all of that for what, television? So you can be friends with the bros? Adriana, Adriana's smart though. Adriana probably already sees Julia for who she is because she's probably like, yeah, this is not my friend. This is not my friend at all. Oh, one regret says, or number one regret says, Marbella, Ibiza are great vacation spots. I heard Ibiza is a great vacation spot, but it's a party city. But I'm sure there are not party parts of Ibiza. All right. Vicky on Twitch says, Adriana, please know Julia is not your friend. I don't think we give Adriana enough credit for being, and I said this last week, that Adriana is a lot smarter than we give her credit, but also emotionally a lot smarter than we give her credit. That's why I didn't believe when she said ratchet that she actually meant ratchet. And you saw when Norma called in, Norma was right, because that's what Norma said, and she said it in the accent as well. Norma called in and said, no, I think she meant wretched. Wretched. You see how that sounds like ratchet? Because even when she said it, it didn't make sense. But it doesn't mean you can say a word and it not be offensive to someone. Just saying. But she did apologize in this episode to Kiki. Did you guys notice how Kiki and Gertie were having such a fun time? Like when the girls were arguing, they had so many little cute little moments between them in this episode. Kiki, I blame you though. I don't think Gertie is innocent either, because you know what also annoyed me in this episode? This always annoys me about Gertie, but it was noticeable in the after show and it was noticeable in the episode. Gertie doesn't let people speak. Gertie is always like, and I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's ADHD or something. It could be. I'm not saying that she has it, or I'm not saying she does. But sometimes I try to give grace in my head. Well, maybe it's that. But still, I know what Kiki was trying to say to her at the stretch lab. I didn't like how Kiki said it, because Kiki made it seem like she's over the top. No, what I think Kiki probably was trying to say, you interrupt people all the time. And she does. And I noticed it a lot in this episode. I was like, Gertie, just let people speak. Let them get their thoughts out. Give them a moment. Give them a moment. So that annoyed me a little bit in this episode, but I like their little moments together. Like when the ladies were arguing back and forth, and Kiki and Gertie are like hugged up on each other, and you're like, oh, like, whoa. Like it was cute. And I think their issues weren't that deep, that they could have at the reunion made amends. But the fact that they didn't, and maybe Kiki doubled down on their issues on her side of things, is part of the reason why they are where they are. But here's the thing. Because we find out from Adriana in the after show, I'm including, for those that don't know, you can watch the after show on Peacock. They're not paying me, but they should. Not wordsmith. Lisa broke it down in the confessional, but Adriana was still wrong. Not wordsmith Lisa. Come on now. Okay. Anyway. So in the after show, Adriana reveals that when Kiki, her, and Lisa and Gertie were all together, remember when they split up last week? She said that Kiki was like very like blah the entire time. And she says, I believe it was because she wasn't with the cool girl. She wanted to be with the other group. Remember what I said to you before. I do believe some of the, her family issues were a part of the reason why she was upset. But I also said to you, I felt like maybe she found out that she wasn't going to make full time, and that's why she was upset. So I feel like a lot of what we're seeing with Kiki and during this trip is some of that. It's more about the show than it is about any personal or interpersonal issues with the group. I definitely think it's more about the show. Like she wanted to be with Larsa and those other folks and the bros. Danny says the after show is actually good, right? The show is good. I think the after show becomes good because the show is actually good. But it does give a lot of context and spill a lot of tea, at least this week. All right, guys, we're almost at 200 likes. Don't forget to like the video. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Miami's episode 13 for their season 7. Yeah, season 7. Woo! All right. Let me take a sip. And while I do that, be sure to vote in the live chat poll. Shout out to everyone watching on Twitch. I see you guys on Twitch. Tesker says, on Twitch, says, it might be a little ADHD. Sometimes I catch myself cutting people off. I have autism and ADHD, and I often just get really excited to have a connection in a conversation. So that's the vibe I'm getting. But I don't want to diagnose Gertie, but I notice she does it a lot. And again, maybe she does have it and she doesn't realize it. But she does it a lot. And I think that might be people's issue with her. It's not that she's over the top, because they're all over the top. But she does interrupt a lot. But it could be that. Not me diagnosing people, but I'm just saying it could be that, or she could just be rude. Oh, I just hit my wrist. Okay. All right, let me focus. Let me get through, because we haven't even gotten through everything I wanted to go through. Okay? So Alexia writes a text message to Stephanie to let her know. The bros decide that Alexia is better with her words. Okay? And she decides to write this text message to Stephanie to let her know that they won't be going to Marbella. So she doesn't say the real reason. They want to have a day to themselves. Okay? Stephanie says that she's confused because last night everything was fine. Everyone was good, whatever it may be. All right. So, and she says she's kind of hurt that they aren't coming. And maybe that was the plan. Maybe the plan really was like, if we don't show up, she'll be upset, and we want to make her upset. Because just when you thought everything was good between Stephanie and Alexia might be a dog with a bone, and she's like, I'm not letting it go. But she's also a housewife. So I do believe when you're on reality television for so long, you start self-producing. So Stephanie says she's hurt. So when they get into the sprint event, Julia tells Stephanie the real reason that Marysol and Alexia decided not to take the flight. And she says that that Stephanie's delivery can be a bit bossy. And Stephanie's like, well, if I'm so bossy, then why are you coming on this plane? So this is what we're talking about, Stephanie. This is what people are talking about, you dangling this plane. Okay, if I'm so bossy, why are you coming on my plane? Do you guys notice how awkward it is when she comes and she meets like the pilot and I guess whoever's meeting them on the plane? She always gives them like this awkward handshake, like she's just met them. It's kind of weird to me, but like it reads to me like you don't do this all the time. You know what I mean? But okay, fine. I mean, her plane does say Shoma on it, I guess. Shorty 8 says, Stephanie is annoying. I feel like they didn't give her the real reason because she gets too dramatic. I mean, she is a Scorpio. Hi, Scorpios. Hey, Miss Bernice, thank you for being a member, and thank you for the super chat. Miss Bernice says, Marysol was projecting with Stephanie about the jet. She would have stranded anyone that she didn't like. Alexia likes that Janice from, looks like Janice from the Muppets. I mean, you're right. Because I literally saw Janice in my head, and I'm like, oh, she does favor her. Sometimes more than other times, but yeah. Okay. Rita says that Stephanie was doing too much. Okay, let me move on. So Larsa defends Stephanie in the car, and she's like, she can't do anything right with you guys. If she provides the plane, you guys say she's dangling over your head. If she doesn't do something you don't like, you're saying that she's being a kiss ass to someone else. Sass on Twitch says, now why am I Scorpio in it? Because she's a Scorpio. Beautiful photo, Sass. And thanks for watching on Twitch. Shout out to our Twitch community. Who's on Twitch? Let us know where you're watching from on Twitch. Okay. Ooh. Angel says, Kemp and I can slander Scorpios. Our moms have the same birthday. Just saying. We can. And I have a Scorpio father. A November Scorpio. But yeah. 11 says, now how Scorpios catch a stray? See why our singers stay it's okay, Scorpios. You're water signs. That's why I say that you can be sensitive. It's hard to get that sensitive side out of you guys, but you guys are sensitive. Stephanie starts tearing up in the Sprinter. I think Stephanie wants to be a part of the cool girls group. And I think she's always wanted to be a part of the cool girls group. I think the same when it comes to her twin sisters. I think these are all triggers to her. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, y'all. I'm trying to stay hydrated. I've been doing a lot of talking from yesterday, today, live again. Okay. All right. So the women party on the private jet. Mind you, this flight, literally, I flew from here to Washington, D.C., and that's a short flight. This is an even shorter flight. They're up in the air for 20 minutes. They're probably not even up in the air for 20 minutes, guys, because they always say the flight from here to D.C. is like an hour. Yeah, right. It's like 30 minutes depending. So 20 minutes probably was like a 5-minute flight, and it cost her $40,000. Larsa had to bring that up. She's like, she can't win, and she's paying $40,000 for this 20-minute flight. Here's the thing. New money. All of you guys, new money. Because people with money, $40,000 isn't anything. She spent probably a little bit more from Miami to Orlando to go pick up her dogs from her parents. Remember when we saw that? She wanted just to be able to stunt on this show. And I'm sure production wants her to do it too. I've flown from Boston to New York too. It's a very quick flight. Sometimes it just makes more sense logistically. Okay? But here's the difference. Look, here's the difference when I do that. I'm not flying private. I'm commuting with my other fellow commuters, okay? All right? So, yeah. But anyway. All right. Guys, we're almost at 200 likes. Be sure to like the video if you haven't already. We are talking about the Real Housewives of Miami. Don't forget, you can hear an audio version of our live recaps like the one we just did with Real Housewives of Orange County and Real Housewives of Miami. Can be found on the TheKempire podcast. So subscribe today. And while you're there, don't forget to give us a 5-star review. So, okay. So $40,000. $40,000 is what it's going to cost them for this 20-something minute flight. You got it, right? Who cares? But okay. So they're partying in the private jet. Stephanie has to make it about Alexia and Marysol not being there, and she says that them missing Julia's event, they cared more about making her look bad than being there for Julia. And Julia was just sort of like, with her face cracked, like, because you want to be so badly friends with them that you're not willing to call them out. That's not friendship, Julia. That's not friendship. Hey, Norma, we mentioned you a little bit ago. She says, how am I multitasking? A Zoom meeting covering voiceover health and okay, and Kempire's recap of Real Housewives of Miami. You have a fantastic voice for voiceover, so I'm glad that that's what you're doing. Just say. But we love our Miami show. I understand why everyone's making taking the time for our recap today. But it's okay for those that are watching the replay. We appreciate you guys as well, because I know some of you are, you're not at lunch, you're back from lunch. It's okay. All right. Or maybe you're getting ready for Labor Day weekend. I had no idea it was Labor Day weekend. Remember I said I was going to take Labor Day off on Monday and I wasn't going to do the rewind rewatch? I need to do. Exactly, Rita. Dorinda said it best. Rich screams, wealth whispers. Okay. But all right. All right. So they party a little bit on that 5-minute flight, literally, probably. Okay. All right. They arrive in Marbella and they're driving to Julia's friend Derek's home. They finally get there. First of all, it's gorgeous. They were like, what in the White Lotus is going on? Because at first I was like, wait, are they at a resort? No, this is Derek's home. And of course, Lisa, I agree. Lisa's just like, this guy reminds me of the guy from White Lotus, the one that killed Jennifer Coolidge, Tanya. The gays are trying to kill me. Now you make me want to watch season 1 and season 2 again. I don't know if I want to watch season 3 yet. I need some time. But don't forget, you can hear my recaps of the White Lotus season 3 on Club Kempire, the paid Apple Podcast subscription. Yeah, I recapped it there along with a bunch of other stuff. All right. It was, Metal says that it was giving White Lotus. I thought they went to some sort of resort. When I rewound and watched, I was like, oh no, this is Derek's home with his partner, with a bunch of other, beautiful men catering to his needs. I mean, they weren't that beautiful. That's what he referred to them as, but they were all right. Okay. So, but it was beautiful. I was just like, okay, this is gorgeous. So this is Martina's friend, and Martina and Julia's friends for like 15 years. Okay. So they arrive. So everyone is so first of all, everyone looks great. So the women arrive and they're just like, okay, like where are we? What in the White Lotus is going on? All right. So, as I said to you before, Julia's known Derek for a very long time. The whole intention here was to ask Derek to be the godfather of the 2 boys that they just adopted. Okay. So they sit down, they're having drinks, and Lisa announces to the group that she finally finalized her divorce from Lenny. So she's cheersing to everyone. She tries to do a cheers with Larsa, and Larsa's just like, But I get it. They're not in the best place. They haven't had a conversation, but she could have given her a cheers. Like, okay, whatever. And maybe that would have been the olive branch. You know what I mean? Norman says, Kempire, Derek's home for your next live Here's the thing. That would be a fantastic idea. However, the fact that Lisa said that it gave her vibes of the White Lotus, not to say that they said or did anything. I don't know. No. I'd like to make it out there alive. I'm not saying anything, but I'm just like. Especially, Derek gave me interesting vibes. Anyone else? Creme Brulee says, I never want to hear Lenny's name again. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be possible. Very much like what Larsa said. This is just the beginning of their co-parenting situation. I don't think Lenny's going to make it easy for her. This has been a long dragged out divorce. However, it is still something to celebrate. Hey, Gabriel. Gabriel said, just got my live stream ticket. I'll see you guys on September 12th. Go get your tickets today. If you're in New York, get your Norma says, Kempire, did you see the food? I mean, they had everything at this place. Like, he knows how to host. They had all of the best food. At one particular point, Larsa said, I wish that Marysol and Alexia did come on this trip. And I get it. I get why she would want that. But it was just very interesting how Julia just was like, okay, okay with it. All right. Hold on. Yeah, so Julia says that she doesn't hold it against them. Which is so interesting to me. Again, Julia, they could probably cuss Julia out and she'd be like, it's okay. Because even when Julia decided to bring news to them that they were talking about them to Alexia was just like, I told you guys not to talk about me. And Julia was like, oh my God. Like, there's nothing that the bros could do to Julia right now that Julia would be offended or upset about. But okay. But you should wait. Hold on. Speaking of the food, did you guys see those champagne glasses? Did you see those champagne glasses? I was like, did you all see Lisa though? Lisa was just like, I feel so rich, and she was just like acting all kind of. She's like, Grey Poupon. I was like, girl, like we know Lisa doesn't come from money, but you've had money for a long time. You were married to Lenny for a long time, but again, having money and having class are two different things. That's the difference between Lenny and Derek. Lenny has money, but he doesn't have any class. I said it. He doesn't have any class, but Derek has class. You see how he hosts his guests? He invited all these women to his estate. That's an estate that they're on. I don't know where it begins or where it ends. That is an estate that they own. He's like, please come into my home. He's got all kinds of workers that are serving them champagne and big, huge glass of champagne. Like how do you drink? How are you supposed to drink that champagne with your hands? Like, aren't you supposed to double fist it and go? like how those suckers were huge. I've never seen anything like that. But I was like, Lisa is acting all new money. She's like, oh, I feel so rich. This is amazing. Grey Poupon. Lars is just like, this girl is ridiculous. Because at one particular point, Lisa stands up. She's like, I'd like to make another. Was she lit? She was like, I'd like to make another toast. And then she was like, she want to pour one out for the homies in the champagne. I was like, girl, sit down. I was embarrassed. At that particular point, then I would have been embarrassed. Like, this is my friend. I was like, what is happening right now? She wants to pour one out for the homies. What? Exactly. Christina said she was about to pour the drink. I was like, girl, I'm like, sit down. Okay. Oh, Bim Black says those are normal champagne glasses in Europe. See, we're learning something new. But here's the thing: the difference between me and Lisa, I would have pretended like I've seen this before my entire life. Like, oh, these are fabulous. These are fabulous. But Lisa can't help herself. She's just like, these are Grey Poupon. Rich people don't eat Grey Poupon. Exactly. Shorty says ratchet Lisa. Now that was ratchet behavior. Taurus Moon says she was drunk or took something. I couldn't really tell, but it was definitely giving drunk or something. Ben Black says, how did Lisa get drunk so quickly? We have to keep in mind, guys, you're watching an edited show. For all we know, they could have been there for hours before we even got to that particular moment. Rita says that Lisa was acting very Leo, making everything about her. That's probably why Larsa was so upset. All right, so we had that moment back in Sevilla. Marysol, first of all, when they were partying on the plane, remember when the ladies were partying on the private jet? They flash to Sevilla with Marysol and Alexia, and they're sitting next to each other, busy on their phones, just tapping away. Boring. Okay. Whatever. All right, but back in Sevilla, Marysol said, they sit down, they go out. Here's the thing. Because Alexia is a Taurus, I will say this. As someone that has traveled, as someone that has toured, if you've done like a touring group, like if you've gone on like a group tour, and then there's an opportunity for you to be like, okay, I just want to stay back at the hotel and do my own thing. Speaking to this Taurus who can't really be around a lot of people for a long period of time, that actually makes sense to me. And Marysol is a Capricorn. So Taurus and Capricorns are very much alike, hence why they would make a good match. I was sort of like, part of me's not mad at that. Part of me is sort of like, yeah, I kind of would want to just stay. Well, part of me would want to go and see another city. See, that's me. I would want to still and go see another city. But if they were just going to do another activity in Sevilla and I could stay back and do nothing and do my own thing, yeah. but they were going to see a whole other city that I think they're probably going to regret. They won't admit to us that they regret it, but probably watching the episode like, damn, we should have went to Marbella. Because that would have been nice. Because first of all, how often are you going to that particular part of town or be at the White Lotus? You know what I mean? But yeah. Let me say thank you. We had a few super chats. The rest is still unwritten. Thank you for the super chat. They say, if Larsa's A kisses Stephanie so much, I can only imagine how she was with the Kardashians. Right? But I feel like they're kissing each other's booties at this particular point. Because I don't feel like that's a real friendship. I feel like that's an alliance. Ribbons, thank you so much for the super chat. Ribbons says, hey, Camp, have you watched Real Housewives of London yet? And will you review? Can't wait for the live show. Got my live stream ticket. Thank you, Ribbons, for getting your live stream ticket. Here's the thing, guys. It's not our larger audience, and I appreciate it, our UK audience, but our larger audience would not be able to watch it. Yes, there's a variety of different ways for you guys to watch it if you get a VPN or blah, blah, blah. But a lot of people aren't going to be able to do that. So I can't promise that I will review it. I am going to try and watch it. I've been meaning to watch the first episode, but that's part of the reason. And plus, there's so many housewife shows on currently in the States. And we're about to have RHOP back. We're about to have Salt Lake City back. I like talking about some of these housewife shows, but I don't want this channel to be just us reviewing reality television. As you know, we don't do just that here on the channel. And at this particular point, me reviewing every single Real Housewives show is becoming cumbersome for me. Because now I can't watch these shows and just enjoy them. I used to love watching Real Housewives. Now that I do it for a living and I talk about it with you guys, it's become less fun. Except when I'm talking about Real Housewives of Miami, because it actually is a good season. So no promises. But thank you so much for getting your ticket. Maybe we'll talk about it during the live show. Because that's where I've been talking about shows that you guys have been asking me about. That's where I've been talking about is during the live shows like Next Gen NYC, Love Hotel. I've been talking about that during our live shows. We even talked about a little bit of Love Island in DC. But yeah. All right. Move on. V says, where can you watch Real Housewives of London? You got to get a VPN. So it's not like you can just go somewhere. No, you got to get VPN. You got to. It's a little bit of a process. There is the one episode. I retweeted it on X, but I did that like a couple of weeks ago. Vicky, thank you so much. Vicky says, I got to get my streaming ticket. Yes, guys, make sure you just get it before September 12th. Because some people will wait till the last minute and then they won't be able to get it. Uh-oh, Coco says, London is a little boring. Uh-oh. I mean, it's only, the first 2 episodes or first 3 episodes? So, stay tuned. Pageant Mommy says, I never cared for Real Housewives of Miami and would watch passively. I have enjoyed RHOC, but at this point, I'm only watching both to be able to engage with this beautiful community. A lot of people say that. But I love Miami. Miami, for me, has returned the fun of us talking about Real Housewives. But especially now that we're on this trip, okay? All right. Let me move on from here. If you haven't already, guys, be sure to like the video. We're almost at 300 likes. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Miami. Let me see. Okay. So Marysol and Alexia are back, and they're at this cafe, and they're talking about Stephanie, and they're like, there's too many rules, and they're talking about, the private jet, and just like, like I'm not, and they're sitting there pretending like they're not impressed by a private jet. Mind you, she was so impressed by the Rolls Royce that Stephanie had, Marysol. She's like, oh, I didn't know that the Rolls Royce could do this. But she also talked about the private jet earlier in the season, like, oh, I'm going to be friends with her. Now all of a sudden the private jet is nothing to them. Like, private jet, smivate jet. We've yet to see them have a private jet or have friends with a private jet. However, I mentioned to you before, she did get on the phone with Richard Branson. He's got more than just a private jet. He's got a fleet of jets, okay? And cruises, okay? All right. Ooh, Mills says, after living in London for 9 years, I just moved back to the U.S. this year. I can't see Real Housewives of London being interesting. Ooh, damn. Wait, Coco says that London is giving Cheshire, but not as overproduced. And a lot of y'all have said you haven't loved Cheshire. Real Housewives of Cheshire. Uh-oh. Foxy says, I liked Ladies of London. I did too. That's one of the shows that I did watch. But they're bringing back Ladies of London. But that will be on Bravo, right? That will be on Bravo, Ladies of London. Tyler says, Cheshire having a franchise is so weird to me. Why is that? Please do explain. All right, let me move on, guys. We're getting sidetracked, and this is about Miami. Let me talk about, okay, so this is when Marysol talks about Richard Branson. They flash back to when she FaceTimes with Richard Branson about gifting her something for her wedding. And from what we see for next week's episode, it's basically a 2-day cruise. Not sure where they're going exactly, but again, this trip is turning into amazing. They were in Sevilla, then they went to Marbella, they were at the White Lotus house, and now they're going to go on this 2-day cruise. Like, Miami's bringing a good trip. So far, the trip is tripping, okay? So she talked about that. Marysol says that when you go on his plane or boat, there are no rules. So that's her big issue with Stephanie, is like, there's all these rules. And I have to kind of agree with Marysol. Richard Branson's not tripping or over you pooping in his bathroom, because that's what a bathroom is for. He's not tripping on you possibly ripping his seat. If you did it intentionally, it's one thing, but he's not worried about what you're wearing on his plane. He's probably also not worried about you wearing shoes on the plane, because you know why? He's so rich, he can replace that very easily without having to worry about that. Richard Branson's not bringing up, he's just spent $40,000 to fly 20 minutes. Well, you know why? Because $40,000 to him is like $40 to us. Probably less. So then there's that. Toya says the 2-day cruise doesn't go anywhere. Well, here's the thing. It depends on where you are. If you're in the Mediterranean, a 2-day cruise can go places. Shimmer says, I used to love Virgin Airlines. Virgin is even now, because now Virgin is not what it used to be. It's not what Virgin Atlantic. I told you guys this the other day. I flew Virgin because they're partnered with Delta, and it's when I went to London for my birthday the first time, and the flight to London was Virgin, and I was like, this is amazing. I loved it. I loved their lounge at JFK. I loved their the actual first class pod that I was in. I was like, this is amazing. I don't know what the other seats were like, but the first class. I just moved my desk. Okay. Winter says, Real Housewives of Miami really be having trips. I love it. And they also, it's not even just about the fabulous trips. They're giving us moments. They're the fabulosity, but they're also giving us the crazy at the same time. Oh, okay. Chi-Chi says that the Virgin cruises are apparently excellent. I'm pretty sure they probably would be. I've never done one, but now it's got me thinking. But he's also a smart businessman. He's like, okay, you're going to film this? Yeah, you can use my cruise. This is going to be advertising for the cruise. Just saying. Rita says, yes, I love their trips, fun, and you get to see the culture. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. We're almost at 300 likes. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Miami's latest episode. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know your thoughts and opinions. And don't forget, Real Housewives of Miami will be one of the many shows and hot topics that we will be talking about at the Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era, featuring the Brooke Ashley, Friday, September 12th, here in New York City at the Green Room 42. Get your tickets today. But even if you're not in New York City, and let's say you're in Sevilla or you're in South Africa, you can be a part of the show as well. Even if you can't watch it live, you'll be able to, once you get your ticket, you'll be able to watch the replay for a week. So go get your tickets today. Ticket information is available in the description. Teresa says, Kempire, who decides where they go, production or the cast? Seems like that some of the girls get shortchanged with the trips. Production. Well, production, but also the network decides all of that stuff. I'm sure the housewives can suggest, especially if they know people, or this is the idea that I have. And then they go, the production and the network, they get a budget, and that's how they pay for it. So Yeah. It also makes me wonder, though, the flight from Sevilla to Marbella, was that paid by production or was that really paid by what's her face? Stephanie. It wouldn't shock me that production paid for it. And of course she wanted to make it a thing, but I mean, production doesn't always pay for everything, but because it was transportation, it wouldn't shock me that they paid for it. But whatever. She wants to make it seem like, oh my gosh, okay. Virgin Voyages is adults only. Yes. Don't nobody want no kids running on your cruise. Okiba says adults only. I go for that reason alone. I have to say, though, I've done Royal Caribbean cruises, and yes, kids are on them, but they weren't annoying because they have their spaces. You know what I mean? All right. Let's move on. Let's move on. So we're back in Marbella. As I mentioned to you before, Lisa makes that toast, and it seems like she's drunk. She wants to pour one out for the homies. Julia then decides that this was the moment that she's going to ask Derek to be the godfather of her new adopted boys. Okay? Fine. Beautiful moment. Boo-hoo-hoo. Adriana says she's happy for Julia and Derek, but she says that it's kind of bittersweet because she was never asked to be the godmother. So during the after show, Julia reveals that, do I have the clip? I'm not going to play the clip for you guys. I might play the audio because Julia reveals that she was like a part of the adoption process. Like she really helped Julia with this process. Let me see if I can play this for you guys.
When this one right here signed both character papers, not once but twice.
I felt used and I felt
That's crazy.
taken for granted because when she needed someone to do the house studies and vouch for her and Martina and the whole household and how those boys will be treated, I vouched for her.
You were the obvious choice. Crazy, guys.
Yeah.
I think she.
So that's the thing. So Adriana on the after show says that she vouched for Julia and Martina because also you have to think about this. I know Adriana is a reality TV star, but she's also, when you look at her resume, I'm sure the social workers are looking at this. This is a college-educated, established woman here in Miami, cultured woman. So she comes with a lot of credibility. Pageant Mommy, I literally just saw Ricky Martin. I guess he had done the Ritz Collection cruises. I was like, oh, that looks fabulous. That definitely looks really like up my speed where I don't have to look into the drawers. They're looking in there for me. Speaking of looking in the drawers, Tomas that works at the hotel. Oh my gosh. I think I stayed at that hotel. Was it the Radisson that they're staying? I think I stayed at that hotel when I went to Barcelona. Anyway, Tomas, he's hilarious. Like he's a little bit of a psych. I feel like we should have gotten to see a little bit more of Tomas during this trip because he's bringing them all their outfits when they get back from Marbella. Anyway, so back in Marbella. So Julia asked Derek, and of course he accepts, and everyone's like, "Oh, fabulous!" Julia's upset about it because Julia's just like, well, she's not upset, and she's not acting different, but she says in the after show, like she really helped with this process, and to not be asked to be the godmother, that is a slap in the face, and I wouldn't be surprised if she's going to be like, "Oh, you need two godmothers," all right. You need two godmothers. So she'll make Alexia one of the godmothers and then Julia. No, you shouldn't. Did you ask Alexia to help you with the adoption process? Because you guys weren't that close until recently. Ben Black says that why did Adriana vouch for them? Julia makes it seem like they aren't real friends. It's so weird. Because they were real friends. They were real friends. Because Julia proposed to Adriana, got on one knee like, oh, would you be my friend? Would you be my friend? Whatever, Julia. All right. She would be lucky to have Adriana as a godmother for those boys, to be honest with you. Because Adriana, I feel like would be there for those boys. I feel like she would help give them the culture and the exposure that they need. and bring up those important details that they will need, especially as being black boys in Florida. Just saying. All right. All right. Oh, yes. HW says Ricky Martin is gorgeous. Have you seen him in Palm Royale? Yes, I love Palm Royale. That was really, really good series. It's really, really good series. Where was that on? I forgot what streaming platform that was on. That was a really good. I think it was Apple Plus, right? Palm Royale. Oh, I loved it. I thought that was so good. But anyway, we're getting sidetracked again. Diana says that Julia and this adoption storyline is giving me the ick. Well, let's talk about that because Julia and Derek she goes on a walk with her Derek and some of her other friends. They call Martina, they FaceTime with the boys, and they talk about now they're the godfathers, blah, blah, blah. Now they're part of the family. So they talk about her daughters and she asked Derek to speak with her daughters because she hasn't spoken with them because they were not happy with the timeline of the events of the adoption. We still do not know, and I'm sure during the reunion, Andy asked for more clarity on what exactly happened. Were they not happy about the adoption happening so fast? They knew that they were considering it. I want to say something, y'all. Oh, okay. Norma says Palm Royale on Apple and season 2 is coming. I'm glad. I love that show. Are you in it, Norma? Look. Anyway. All right. Focus, y'all. I know. I need to focus. So here's my thing, my quandary with this whole Julia and her daughters thing. Because I've been saying that I really believe that Julia is a narcissist. The element that I didn't think about until this week. Have you ever been raised by a narcissist? That part, because I said to you before, when it comes to Martina, no one is more important in Julia's life than herself. She will put... If Martina is going for chemotherapy, but she's in another country getting a facelift. Martina, I'm going to throw a party to celebrate Martina, but I'm going to sing at it. Okay, so making it about yourself. She always does that. So then I thought to myself, and I'm not saying that she's not necessarily a good parent, but people that have been raised by a narcissist mother, please weigh in the live chat or in the comments section. Because I can only imagine, because like I said, I really believe she's a narcissist. So I want, sorry, Norma. Norma says, no, Kempire, I auditioned for one of the wives twice. They're lost, Norma. You would have been fantastic. Sidebar. So I thought to myself, Savannah says child of a narc. So Savannah, do you understand why the daughters, remember both daughters, usually maybe one kid might be upset with the parent, but both daughters, I know we joke and say, it's about the inheritance. I don't think it's that. But both of her daughters are not speaking to her. Both of the daughters. Savannah, please do tell your thoughts and opinions on being raised by a narcissist. Oh, Savannah says, yes, my mother is a narcissist. Now as a grown adult, I choose when I want to talk to her. See? Thank you. So I'm thinking the daughters were like, here we go again, another moment where you're thinking about yourself and you're not thinking about us. I don't know if this is true, but this is my speculation. Just saying. Shorty says, Martina must not have a prenup because I'd leave my partner if they were getting a facelift while I was having. Martina, I don't know. Martina seems to be enamored by her. Brink says, this is a safe space, Kempire, tell us. Well, I'm telling you. I believe that they were raised by a narcissist, which is Julia, and maybe they've always felt like she always makes things about her. And I feel like this was just like the cherry on top. Rocky says, as a child of a narc. Oh, okay. Oh, see, Savannah, who's a child of a narcissist, says, we do not speak, selfish, emotionally immature. So now that I've given you that perspective, that I believe, in my opinion, that Julia really is a narcissist. I know we joke about these women being narcissists, and they might be, but I really believe that Julia is a narcissist. Can you imagine having children and you're a narcissist, and or you're the child of a narcissist, and now, okay, you decided at your big age, and Martina's bigger age, and Martina just went through cancer. Now you decide to adopt these two young boys. And someone also said this last week. God forbid anything happens to Martina and Julia. Now who's going to raise those boys? That's a serious question. So it sounds like to me that the daughters felt like they had no input in the decision when it comes to this. She really has not given us a clear answer as to why the daughters aren't speaking to them, but she gets emotional. You know how Julia, she's like, please speak to, I didn't see a tear at all. Please speak to them. Please. And he's like, oh, I'll speak to them. I'll speak to them. Okay. All right. Brittany says, I have a narcissistic, toxic parent. Tyler says the girls are exhausted. Savannah says, we only see a glimpse of Julia. Her daughters know her best. That's what this is why I'm sort of like, what exactly? Like, I would want to talk to them. I don't want to hear any explanation from a narcissist on the reunion because I don't think we're going to get the full picture. Norma says Derek will raise those boys in White Lotus. Lord. All right. Let's move on. So she has that emotional moment with Derek. Whatever. So then they fly back. They fly back to Sevilla. All right. So they have the big group event. Everyone's getting in their flamenco dresses and things like that. Whose dresses did you like the best? I will say this. My favorite dresses were Adriana's. I loved Adriana's dress. The red, it was just gorgeous. I actually liked Alexia's. It stood out on its own, like all the pink, the pink accessories. I really liked that. I really liked Stephanie's. And it was funny because Stephanie had the white version of Lisa's outfit, which I also really liked. And I like how Lisa did her hair. So those, and I actually liked Larsa. At first, I didn't really love Larsa's when she first came down, but then I saw it later on. I was like, oh no, it's actually really pretty. So those were my favorite looks. Who were your favorite looks? Keisha says Alexia's dress was the best. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, that was my favorite look. But then when Adriana came down, I was like, oh, okay. Shorty 8 said Cuban Barbie looked good. Adriana in red, Alexia was working the pink. Yeah, and I feel like she stood out because no one else had pink on. But I really did like, Stephanie's look, and I liked Lisa's look. Who else did I like? And I was sad because normally I with like a Kiki or a Gertie, they could really kill this moment. I didn't like their dresses at all. They looked matronly. Sorry. Not sorry. See, that's why you can't be team anybody. Keith says Kiki and Gertie were wearing the same dress. They kind of looked similar, but they were different colors. Keisha says that Gertie should have lost the hat. Maybe. I don't know. I didn't like her dress either, though. Yeah. All right, let's move on from there. So Marysol tells Stephanie, because they're all gathering in the lobby. On one side, Marysol tells Stephanie the reason why they decided not to take the trip, because she's like, this trip is supposed to be about Alexia, and I haven't had a moment with Alexia. And I was like, okay, this is so weird. And then Alexia is asked about why they didn't come, and Alexia tells the truth. Like, she was dangling this trip over our heads, and we didn't want to have to deal with that, and blah, 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 blah. All right, so Stephanie's sort of like, so what's the truth here? Marysol saying one thing, Alexia saying another thing. Okay? So they all get into the vans to get to this park where they're going to get into the horse-drawn carriage. They all get into different ones, and then they surprise Stephanie with this band and flamenco dancers celebrating her birthday. And she gets emotional. She's calling Masood like, oh, look, they're singing happy birthday to me. Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. Mandy says Kempire, and guarantee you Martina doesn't know the whole truth of what's going on with the daughters. You think? Because she did talk about how Martina is upset. She's like, am I going to have to get another cancer before they talk to me again? I'm sure they probably don't even love Martina like that because Martina's so cold. But who knows? Maybe she's different. Whatever. Anyway. So what else was happening here? Look, what else was happening here? So they're celebrating in the park. Then they decide to go explore the castle. So Stephanie pulls Alexia aside to talk about why they didn't come on the plane. So Alexia immediately is just like, well, maybe we should grab Marysol because she was part of the reason why I didn't go on the plane. And she's like, I don't need to talk to her. We don't need to bring her over. The bros can't function without each other. Because my thing is, Alexia, just stand on what you wanted to stand on, that you did not want to go on the plane for whatever reason. Just let her know. You guys weren't in a great place anyway. So Alexia insists that Marysol should be a part of the conversation. Stephanie confronts Alexia about dangling the plane over their heads. She's like, this is what you do. Like, it's ridiculous. So they get into their heated exchange, and then they start walking back to the rest of the group. And Stephanie tells the group that Alexia wanted Lisa. Alexia wanted to leave Lisa behind on the plane, which I had to go like this, like, wait, when did that happen? And luckily, production replayed the moment, and no, it was Stephanie who asked Larsa, "Do you want to see Lisa on the? Do you feel comfortable flying with Lisa?" And Larsa was like, "Oh no, I don't think I do. I don't think I feel comfortable." Okay. But Stephanie making that up, I was sort of like, wait a minute, that never happened. That you are lying here. You are lying. Because when did that happen? I will say when they were leaving that dinner, though, Alexia was just like, close the van so no one else can get in. Close the van so no one else can get in. That was the only thing. So when Larsa comes over and she confirms, like, well, yeah, I said I didn't feel comfortable. Then this leads to a fight between Lisa and Larsa. And Lisa says, okay, Petty Pippin. And then she pointed out the lumps and the bumps. I was like, what is it? So we're having multiple arguments happening. And then the Haitian girls, Gertie and Kiki, are just like, they're just like, oh, what? Excuse me? Like their little commentary. I was like, oh, it makes me sad that they're not in that place anymore. And I know Kiki has said in multiple interviews during her media blitz that they were good during the season, so she doesn't understand why they're not good now. She feels like Gertie is listening to social media. Well, no, she's seeing things and probably differently as they're playing out during the season. But I think at the reunion, you guys could have put that to bed. It didn't need to lead to what it led to. Because I'd much rather see you guys have a good time. I'm not saying you guys have to be besties. I know some people are like, oh, they should be besties. They don't have to be besties, even though I think they probably could be. Because I could see them getting along and having a good time. But the problem with Kiki, and you guys have clocked it before, Kiki wants to be a part of the Mean Girls. She might not view them as Mean Girls, but she wants to be a part of that. Because I think in her head, that is going to secure her a mojito. They're all battling, the friend does, are battling for a mojito. And they need to let that go. Let it go. I don't want to see Kiki get a mojito. They're still showing your life, Kiki. I get it. You probably want the check. Girl, you're better off. Because please understand, if there's any dark secrets about you, these Bravo people, as soon as you become a full-time housewife, they're going to dig it up and expose it. So enjoy being a friend of. All right. One of the things I forgot to mention while they were in Marbella, Lisa and Adriana were talking about what Adriana said. Was it wretched or ratchet? But when they said it again and they replayed, I was like, oh, she was trying to say wretched. I was like, Norma was right. Norma was right, but they didn't talk about it in Marbella. They did end up talking about, as these people are fighting, Adriana and Kiki have a side conversation, and Adriana apologizes. She's like, I used the wrong word that has like a double meaning. No, you used the wrong word. You use ratchet, or maybe you pronounced it incorrectly, but what you meant was wretched. Because even when you think about the context, it was sort of like ratchet. That doesn't make sense. And even in the after show, Gertie was just like, I apologize because I was mad at you too, because I was sort of like ratchet. Because for black folks, it kind of takes, are you calling me ghetto? Kind of thing. But no, she meant wretched. She really did mean wretched. So they hash it out. They make peace. And she said that she feels bad because she ended up calling Adriana old. And Adriana was very triggered by that. But even though she was triggered by that, she did end up reaching out to Kiki afterwards multiple times. But Kiki at the time did not want to speak to her about it. Angel says that literally Kiki needed the full-time check. She's supporting a village financially. But I keep telling you guys, I don't think so. I don't think that she'd be good as a full-time housewife. I don't think so. Exactly. Shorty says, I think she pronounced it incorrectly because she has a heavy accent. You also forget that she's Brazilian. Brazilians they pronounce certain words. Even if they know English very well, they still pronounce certain words differently. I've never heard the ratchet one. But now we have, and now we've learned. But at least, here's the thing. Even if she mispronounced the word, it was taken as a derogatory way, and she still owned it, and she apologized for it. She didn't make excuses for it. She didn't just say, I said the wrong word. You took it wrong. No, she's like, you know what? I apologize. I used the wrong word that has a double meaning, blah, 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 blah. Okay? All right. All right, so they get back to the hotel, and of course, they're in their separate groups. Stephanie and Larsa are in their room, and they're talking about what's been playing out. Lisa, Julia, and Alexia are talking about it, and they're going back and forth on their issues with Stephanie. They're like, when did Stephanie and Larsa become so damn close? She's like, up her you-know-what, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, they start hearing sounds, and they smell something. It's a funeral procession. And they're like, oh, my God, it's a sign. Like, oh my God, it's a sign. It's a sign, y'all. It's a sign. I don't know what it's a sign for, but it's a sign. I mean, if I was on a trip like this, I probably would have thought this was a sign as well. I probably would have said this was a sign to move on. Someone just has passed. What we're fighting over is so petty. It's petty, nonsensical drama. Right? Right. All right. Let me drop the call-in link for for our members. I'm going to drop the call link for our members first before we continue. General audience, let's get to 300 likes, and I'll drop the call link for you guys as well. Become a member today, guys. There's all kind of cool perks for being a member here on our YouTube channel. Head on over to TheKempire.com/join. All right. And don't forget, you can hear an audio version of our live recaps on the Kempire podcast. All right. Sometimes I add some additional content there as well, and extended versions of our recaps. All right. Let me see what you guys are saying. Let me say thank you because Nia sent us a super chat, and Nia is a member. Thank you, Nia. We appreciate your support. Nia says, hi, Kemp. I see it like this. Those girls barely appear on screen and both live with their fathers. Oh. Even when one left for college, she stressed no kids lived at home, suggesting the adoptions meet her needs, not the children's, in regards to Julia. It makes me wonder. It really makes me wonder the dynamic. I thought that was tacky, Savannah. Savannah says, of course, Lisa recorded the funeral. Here's the thing. I thought it was tacky, but in some cultures, that's common. Because I remember when my sister passed away, may she rest in peace. It was just her birthday. She was a Virgo. My uncle was at the funeral taking pictures. And I remember thinking to myself, that's strange. But then I thought to myself, like, maybe that's a Jamaican thing. But yeah. Yeah. So some cultures, that's common. But again, she's not a part of that culture. But I did think to myself, like, why are we recording this? But you know what I also found to be tacky? When we get down to Larsa and Stephanie's room, and they are fake praying. Like I don't mess with religion like that. You know what I mean? I'm not the most religious, but I also don't mess with religion like that. Where literally there's a funeral procession coming past your hotel, and you're going to bow at your head and fake pray. Okay, here goes. Y'all love to bring. Shorty says Lisa's half Jamaican. Come on. So that's why she started doing it. That's why she started. It was the Jamaican roots coming out. Maybe it was the Jamaican roots, y'all. Um, see, Michelle says I was at a live stream funeral and pictures were taken. Very normal Jamaica here. See, so I didn't grow up in Jamaica, but I thought that was like, I was like, what's going on right now? But again, different cultures. See, Butterfly Gal says, yeah, it's common in the Caribbean culture as well, videotapes and all. I remember. I can literally see. I remember this was like 22 years ago. So yeah. If your mom is Jamaican, you're a whole Jamaican. In regards to Lisa, yeah. Look, yeah. I wonder. We don't really get to see her talk about her Jamaican roots like that. I can't. Maybe for next season, we can go to Jamaica where she goes to discover her roots. I kind of want to see that. Just saying, because we're always talking about Lisa. Yeah, Lisa's half Jamaican. We met her mother and her aunt. Was it last season when they came to visit her? Rita says, my mom is Jamaican and I hate going to funerals with her. She's always too much. What do you mean? Oh, wait a minute. Creme Brulee says in St. Lucia, we live streamed the funeral. Well, that's all new, live streaming. I'm talking about like 20 something years ago, guys. We didn't have live streams back then. Keisha says Jamaicans always throw parties as well. We had a not a party. It was a friend of ours, the family hosted like people back at their place kind of thing. It wasn't a party. All right, Nia, thank you so much for another super chat. Nia says, Kemp, it is a Jamaican thing. My grandparents recorded the whole funeral for memories, even the bad singing. Nia, stop. Ooh, okay, I never asked. I think maybe I did. Yes, Coco the repass. Yeah, I never really asked. But okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. I just assumed, All right, if you're a member of the channel, I dropped the call link on the community tab. Live chat, we're going to drop the call-in link for you guys in the live chat as well. All right. Let me bring up my bell. First, again, the callers' opinions do not represent the opinions of myself, the Kempire LLC, or our sponsors, and everything that they say is alleged, and they agree to abide by the timer, and not to use derogatory statements or comments against anything or anyone or anyone's physical appearance. Whew. There we go. There goes the disclaimer. Let me bring up my bell. What's going on?
Hi, Kempire. Hi, mods in the chat.
Hey.
I'm happy to call in. I actually am going to be a little bit off topic to begin with, but I meant to catch your show yesterday on the Potomac trailer, and I missed that. I thought one of the callers kind of stated what I felt, which is I just want it to be fun. And I'm looking forward for it to be fun, to watching you do the recaps on it and just having a laugh because it's been tough. The past couple of months have been, so if we could just try to keep it positive instead of, trying to look for something wrong, it looks like it's going to be a fun season.
Yeah.
Other than that, I want to say, and also I'm in the DMV area. I didn't get to see you last time. I'm usually there. I had a medical procedure, so I couldn't make it out. But if you come back, I will be there. And for this Miami show, I'm enjoying it. It's fun. And I agree with you. You made the statement of, I think something is up with Julia's 2 daughters not wanting to speak with her. And it makes me a little concerned because she has adopted 2 sons. And I'm just like, that's a major factor. So yeah, but other than that, I just wanted to call in, say hello. And as always, I will be watching.
Thanks, my bell. Take care. And I'll definitely be back at the DMV, probably at the top of the year, because like our normal time, at the top of the year to recap Real Housewives of Potomac. So stay tuned for that. No promises. If anything, I need to start working on that from now. Hold on. Osing says, our Hindu funerals are very similar to the Christian ones as far as the 9 nights. Oh. See, I love stuff like that, learning about that. Again, but I don't know if I would record. They might be okay with it. But I don't know if I personally, not knowing the culture, would record someone's funeral. I get why the curiosity to remember it, and we're so used to, especially in this day and age, recording everything. I just don't know if I would have. Okay. All right. Toya's backstage. We're going to bring, we have a long line. Toya, what's going on?
Hey, Kempire, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. I feel like Julia is very much like you know how we call like a woman a pick me for a man? Like
Mm,
she's like a pick me for the girls in the group.
mm,
And yeah, it's definitely, in the words of Candace Dillard Bassett, the line keeps on moving. Like
mm.
if it was Gertie who didn't want to attend the event, oh, it would have been a thing, honey,
Exactly.
a big thing. And I feel like Larsa, like, girl, the divorce is finalized. Like, why would you not be happy about that? She unfollowed Marcus. Like, again, the line keeps moving. What do you want her to do at this point? She might as well just follow him again. You
Agreed.
know, if she want to be friends with a Michael, with a Jordan, you know, a Jordan yacht, they say, you know, that yacht is something serious.
Mm,
She's trying to get on the Michael Jordan yacht. But yeah, good show. I like it. I'm really glad Adriana cleared it up because I like her a lot, and I
yeah.
just did not want her to be that person. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like, don't be that. Don't be that person.
I
All right.
agree.
Bye bye.
Thanks, Toya. All right, let's bring up Angel next. Angel, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, how are you? Happy
Oh, you
Friday.
too.
Oh, good. I just wanted to say that I don't think there's a real issue between Larsa and Lisa because Lisa hasn't really changed at all. I think Larsa is just being a pick me to Stephanie like she was with the
Mm,
Kardashians for status. And I'm going to leave that one there.
mm,
And then I can also see why Stephanie doesn't have any friends though, because she's bossy and not a boss. And she is very cold in the way she delivers things to people. So
mm.
that, and then I'm just shooting them off. Julia is a gold digger. She can smell money like Karamo. So I think she picked those godparents based on status. I don't know if they have a relationship with the boys. And I think that's kind of like, I'm not even gonna go there, but yeah. And I was word on the street is she changed her name. So I just Julia, Martina, watch out, watch your back, take her out the wheel, and we don't know.
Wait,
And
who
then
changed their
Marisol,
name?
I heard that Julia changed the boys' names, but I don't know if that's a fact, but I heard that a couple weeks ago. So I don't know. So they're not Jackson and Luca anymore, according to the streets. So I don't know, but I'll dig into that a little further. And then Marisol is so calculated and petty. She is trying so hard for that mojito because she said, "Who can I pull out my Rolodex?" And she found Sir Richard Branson. So that's it.
Right? Come on. Based off of that, aren't you agreeing? Give her the mojito.
I mean, let's see how the cruise goes, and then we'll decide if we give her the mojito.
Here's the thing. I don't want to give her the mojito because I'm seeing some dangerous behavior from her. And I'm not using that word lightly. It's just that she's creating this toxic environment that's giving me the feeling of the Fox Force flunkies. And I don't want that.
Very much so. If I were in Bravo's HR, we would have to write her up and talk about some things that's bordering illegal activities. So 100% agreed.
That part. Thanks, Angel. Take care.
Bye, Kim. Have a
Bye.
good weekend.
You too. I can't believe it's a Labor Day weekend. Cynthia, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. How you doing?
Well, how are you?
Fine. I wish we had a rating scale. I think the episode was good. I always say the episode was really episodes are really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I know, right? Kemp, I don't like Stephanie.
Oh,
Stephanie is really, really bossy.
yeah.
You see, and she well, when I say she's a narcissist, I think everybody in that group is a narcissist. Especially Lisa, though. But I like Lisa. I like how Lisa called Larsa Petty Pippin.
And
I like
Lumpy
their back
Bumpy.
and forth. I don't know why Alexia called Marysol over for a reinforcement. I don't know. But I mean, eventually she got involved. So I don't know. Anyway, the episode was real good, Kempire.
Okay. Thanks, Cynthia, for
It was
calling
really
in.
good. I wish you did a little live chat with Orange County, but I see why you didn't do
it. Thanks, Cynthia. Take care.
Have a good one. Enjoy your weekend.
You too. Bye. All right. I have a long line for you guys. Have a lot to say when it comes to Real Housewives of Miami. Keep liking the video, guys, if you haven't already. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the latest episode. Winter's backstage. We're gonna bring Winter up next. Winter, what did you want to share?
Hi, Cal.
Hey.
Okay, so for me, I enjoyed the trip. The scenery was so beautiful.
Mm.
I was like, wow, they really be having some good cast trips or whatever. But when it came to Stephanie, if I was like Marisol and what's her name, Alexia, I probably would have sat that out too. I'm one of those like if we go on a girls trip and you guys are doing too much, I need a moment for myself. Like I definitely need to decompress. So
Mm.
it was just like, yeah, her guy's friend, his house was beautiful and I would like to have visit the other city, but at the same time, it was just too much. The jet talk was crazy. And it's just like, I know, there's nothing Stephanie can do to make me like her. I really just don't see any redeeming qualities in that
Yeah.
girl. I'm sorry. So I can't, I mean, bring her back next season, but I really don't like that girl. Sorry.
Don't be
Anyways,
sorry.
happy Friday.
You too. Thanks, Winter.
Bye.
Bye. The only thing I kind of wish they did spend the night at the White Lotus, right? Wouldn't that have been better? That would have been worth more of the trip. Let's spend the night at the White Lotus. He could host them there, and then we could see more of Marbella. I can't look because we're not going to bring her back next season, Julia. So we're not going to go back to the White Lotus, right? All right, Nia's backstage. Nia, what did you want to share?
Hey Camp, how are you?
Oh, how are you?
I'm fine. Just a few things I want to say. So when
Okay.
it comes to Stephanie, I do not like Stephanie. I haven't been able to really connect with her.
Yeah.
Um, I've seen a couple comments on Twitter, which I have to agree with. She does reap new money. It's
Mm.
just like everything is like, don't scratch up my seats, don't this and that. If girl, I could tell this is like your first, PJ, and I don't have a PJ, but still, you would like want to at least act like you had it before. But let's move on from that. And then I will also have to say, I don't like when they compare her and Nicole because I feel
Yeah.
like Nicole is more relatable, and I
Yeah.
like Nicole more than I do Stephanie. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that's a shot at Nicole saying that they're similar because they dated the same person.
No.
They're totally two different people, and I can see why Anthony chose Nicole and not Stephanie.
Mm.
And lastly, with Julia, um, I will say that you can definitely see she's a narc and everything is about how she feels and how she cries to get her way with a lot of things as you
Mm.
see. And I would love to see what the daughters have to say because for them to live far away from her with their parents, with their dads, I really want to know how their relationship is. Like
Mm.
how often did they talk before?
Mm.
And is this something that's been happening before?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's about it.
Remember they said that she didn't know the name of her daughter's school?
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. And then when she went off to school, she started crying. She was like, I don't have no kids in my house, but your kids never live with you. So I was trying to figure out, like, how does that, like, those two things align? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't
Mm.
make any sense. It feels like it's for the cameras. You understand?
Mm.
That's the
Mm.
only thing.
Mm. Okay. Thanks, Nia.
No
Uh,
problem.
all right, we have Miss Bernice backstage. Miss Bernice, what did you think about? People were asking for you in the OC recap. What did you think about Real Housewives of Miami?
What up, to everybody? Let me get this right. I agree with Stephanie about putting down the rules. You
Oh,
don't walk into nobody's house and you just do what you want to do.
oh,
These are the rules I got set up. You either like it or you don't. You don't get on my plane. Simple as that.
oh. Okay.
Okay, but with Alexa and Marisol, I'm trying to keep my cool with them because they remind me of that cartoon used to be on Cartoon Network called Cat Dog, where one end of was a cat and the other end was a dog. It didn't make any sense because it don't go together. That's them. Because when Stephanie asked Alexis, I need to talk to you. Can we come over here and talk? And she just wanted to talk it out and find out, what your feelings are, why you didn't come and stuff like that. Oh, we need Marisol. We need Marisol. She said, I'm gonna talk to Marisol separately. I
Mm.
just want to talk to you. And you didn't have the emotional intelligence of a grown woman. Just sit there and listen to that woman
Mm.
and let her say what she needed to say. You said what you wanted to say, but as soon as she started talking, you wanted to overtalk her. I can't stand people like that because my next thing is I'm gonna bust you in the mouth. Like, okay, I digress. Woosah. Okay, because and with the other, I just watched the AIs on YouTube,
Mm.
the stories and stuff. There's
Mm.
some good channels out there like J.K. Wright, Mr. Peterson's long stories. Tales from the Caribbean Queen. They have some great stories on there. I'd rather watch them to watch the OC any day.
Ooh, damn.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, Miss
Okay.
Bernice. Thanks for calling in.
You're welcome. Love you. Bye bye.
All right, we still have a long line. I'm gonna try to get to everyone. All right, let me bring up Keith next. Keith, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
So first of all, Stephanie, just get behind me real quick, sweetheart, because I'm probably one of the only people other than Miss Bernice that's about to defend her for 1 second. Because I don't have a problem with her actually having rules with what's going on in her playing. At the end of the day,
You're
her
a Virgo.
playing,
No,
her
of
rules.
course.
Of course. And on top of that, like it reminded me of a situation I had with a friend a few weeks ago, actually, because this friend actually likes to tan, and I have a beige couch.
Oh!
So when they came into my home, I told them they can't sit on my sofa, and they got upset. But at the end of the day, you're not going to damage my property. Even if I can afford to pay for it 2-3 times over, that's not the point.
Oh, I agree.
Don't damage my property, you know. But also on top of that, I just think she also has a very type A personality. I wouldn't be surprised she have a whole bunch of Virgo in her chart.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I'm tired of Shaggy and Scooby Doo, aka Alexia and Marysol, because it's monkey see, monkey do. Monkey makes the left foot, the other monkey gonna make the right foot. I'm tired of it. And there's one thing I can't stand is a follower, someone that don't have a mind of their own. I mean, y'all were born by 2 different parents. Why do one person have to rely on the other person on where they go in life? And I'm pretty sure if Alexia went on that private jet, Marysol would have followed.
Mm-hmm.
But one last thing also, I also think it's quite weird to assume that you're going to be someone's godparent. I don't know, but I just think it's weird because I don't walk around thinking my friend is going to make me their godfather. So I just think it's weird to assume someone is going to ask you.
Even
I
if
feel like
that's your best friend?
Surprise. Huh?
Even if that's your best friend? And wait, but not just your best friend, but you also are involved in securing the adoption?
Well, no, not even then, because I feel like just because someone asks you for assistance, that doesn't necessarily mean you should assume your role in next steps of their life. You know, that's like me and going to my friend and asking them for real estate advice, even though they may be a real estate broker or real estate agent, but me not necessarily going to them for that assistance. You can't just assume I'm going to go in that next step with you just because I'm asking for what I'm going to do next in life. I just think it was a big presumption. And I don't know who's the godfather or godmother of her other 2 children. Maybe that also can have an effect, or maybe a little bit understanding on the topic, but I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We appreciate you calling in, Keith.
Of course.
Bye. All right. Yeah, that was the other aspect of Marysol and Alexia's relationship that we didn't talk about a lot. I mean, we talked about it, but it was so obvious that these 2 do not have an individual brain, because it's so obvious the very mean girl, very high school, immature behavior that they're exhibiting in this episode during this trip of, you know, we just wanted to have a day to ourselves, or like all these different excuses. It's so obvious what they're doing. I don't know if it's obvious to everyone else, but it's very obvious to me that they decided they weren't going to do this trip because they just wanted to be mean. I don't know. I don't know if they were just trying to produce something. I don't know. But it was very obvious that there really was no big issue with Stephanie. That whole issue of of her being bossy, like that didn't even involve you guys. I can understand not liking that about her, but to make it a point where like I'm not going on the plane kind of thing, because and then still not supporting your friend. Like, come on. If that was my real friend, I would have left 2 hours earlier than the other ladies. Like, we're on our way there. We want to be there to support you, but I'm not going to fly on her plane. Right? Just saying. If you really want to take a stance and be there for your friend. All right, Keisha's backstage. We're going to bring Keisha up next, but there's 2 Keishas. Oh, wait, no, it's this one. Hey, Keisha. Keisha?
That's me?
There we go.
Okay. Hey, Kempire in the chat. Are you going to kick back?
Say again?
Are you going to kick back when I talk?
No.
Okay. So sign me to the petition with not liking Stephanie. As a Virgo, Stephanie will get on my last nerves, and especially having rules about this PJ. I can respect your rules, but I don't need to hear it every time we're about to get on your plane. Either I'm going to respect it or I'm going to just chill out. And I really don't blame Marysol and Alexia for staying back because y'all energy has irritated me. And I don't mind staying back having a pool day with my best friend. So, yeah, that's that on that. And, I wanted to say, because I made the comment about the Jamaican parties with the funeral.
Yeah.
So, in Jamaica, they have 9 nights. We have the funeral repast and the grave digging party. So when I moved here to Jamaica, my husband's Jamaican, and I've never seen so many parties and celebrations for funerals.
So you live in Jamaica now?
Yes, I live here now, full time.
Wow. Why'd you guys
Yes.
decide to move there?
Long story short, we have a business that we ran in America that we didn't have to be there. So during COVID, we had property here, and I told him I did not want to be stuck in America. So we just decided to stay here full time, and we have a business here now.
I know that's right. Well, good for you.
So-
And you probably
so
do not
whenever you're
regret it at
ready-
all.
What's that?
And you do not regret it at all, especially right now.
I don't miss anything.
Well, damn.
I go back and visit my parents, my family, and I get the little things of the shops, that I need to go to that I can't get here. But yeah, I'm good. Peace of mind is like no other.
I bet. Well, good for you.
Thank you. Oh, one last thing. Please, over the weekend, watch Jesse Smollett. It's only an hour, 26 minutes of your time. I really need
It's
to know
Labor
what you
Day
think.
weekend. We're going to be on the Parkway.
That is true. Virgo Nation. All right. Thanks, Kempire.
Thanks, Keisha. Take care. Bye. We're going to be on the Parkway. I just found out it's Labor Day weekend. All right. April's backstage. We're going to bring April up next. April, what did you want to share?
Good afternoon, Kempire. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. Okay, so I see. Remember when I called in? Well, I mean, a lot of things have happened since then, but when I said I'm gonna keep my good eye on Stephanie because anyone that comes by way of Larsa, you just gotta keep a good eye on them. And I'm just like, it's she's not doing it for me. And I love Miss Bernice when she said the cat and dog, but it was Nickelodeon. And I just hollered in my room because it was interesting to see Alexia throw her bro underneath the bus because that's how I interpret it. It's like, oh well, it was more Marisol. It's like, well, if you are, such a person that likes to call it how it is, then call it how it is, girl. It just call the thing for what it is. You don't need to have backup, just say what you want to say. And Julia, again, I don't like her. Her and her stiff Bob, she can go. I don't know if those godparents are here in the US
They're not.
or not. Okay. And I would say, isn't the purpose of this is just me, but isn't the purpose of godparents? They need to be close, like within the states. So I'm not saying that they can't get to you, but it's giving, it was just for clout, But that's all I had to say. Enjoy the rest of your day, Campfire.
You too, April. Take care. The other thing, if you watch the after show, there are some cracks in the relationship between Alexia and Marysol because Alexia keeps saying like this trip wasn't for me. She was like, I was really mad because no one had my back, and Marysol's like, I had your back, and she's like, no one had my back. So there are cracks in that relationship, and again, although I do believe that they're real friends, I also feel like some of this friendship is an alliance for the show. Because the amount of times Alexia has said on this after show, like, this trip was for me. It didn't feel like it was for me. And she's like, this trip was for you. I did all this work. I was like, there are cracks in this relationship. All right, Rosalind's backstage. We're going to bring Rosalind up next. Rosalind, what did you want to share?
I was just agreeing with everything you all were saying, so I don't really have anything new to add.
Okay.
One thing I wanted to ask, though, what you guys thought, maybe I'm going too deep or thinking too much. In regards to the cruise where all the drama technically started between Gertie and Julia, do you think the reason it's such a touchy subject is because Julia maybe made something up about something new with Martina's cancer? Because she didn't go into it on the cruise. She never really elaborated. And then she gets super defensive when the cruise is brought up. And that would just be so gross, but narcissistic, like true to her nature to do something like that.
And mind you, this cruise is from 2023. They
Right.
had filmed
Right.
that other reunion, like they'd seen each other since then. So to bring it up is so random.
Exactly. And to even go on the cruise
Mm,
if something bad just happened.
with Martina.
That was my thought. And one more thing about Stephanie. I think she's like a brat, like a baby,
Yeah.
neurotic little brat that just needs to be put in line.
Ooh.
And I can already envision Larsa regretting bringing her on the show. Anyways,
Really?
I'll let you go.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Rosalind. Take care.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Stephanie definitely gives brat, and that's where I don't know why people even compare them. The only thing about Dr. Nicole and Stephanie that are similar, they actually look alike. If you see them side by side, they do look a lot alike, but they're nothing alike. The maturity levels are not there. Yes, the money might be similar, but the maturity is not there. And I think that's why, when they say this person rich, they rich right, that is what we're getting from Dr. Nicole. I can imagine that Stephanie's probably terrible to the people that work for them. I just, there's something about her that isn't likable, and we're seeing more and more of it. But yeah. All right. Arjun is backstage. We haven't seen Arjun in a long time. What's going on, Arjun? Where you been?
Hello, Kempire. Oh, well, I got uni, then I was going to European cities, kind of high, but...
You had a good time? You had a good summer?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
But I was gonna say what you said. They went all the way to Marbella and then they didn't do anything there. Literally at a house. That's it.
I mean, the house was fabulous, though.
I know, but they could have gone around the city, go to Puerto Banos. There's so much to do in Marbella. Go around. Even in Sevilla, I'm surprised they didn't go to Cathedral of Sevilla. It's so big. They showed outside of it, but they didn't go inside. And I remember a few seasons ago, they did go, I think it was in Mexico they went to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when they were praying for Gertie, remember?
Yep.
So I was surprised they didn't go to a church.
Sometimes it's logistical, they can't film inside the church.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I wish they showed more of Sevilla because Sevilla is so great. I wish they showed more.
Yeah.
I feel like they just capture inside the hotel and the restaurants. I wish they showed more of the streets of Sevilla.
Okay.
But yeah, this trip, I think me who loves Sevilla, I feel like they should have shown more.
I mean, it was enough for me to be like, I want to go.
Oh, I've been to the restaurant. They went to the first restaurant they were all in,
Yeah.
Casa Tama. That restaurant is amazing. 4 floors. I think it has 4 different floors and different architect. And they had a garden outside to sit. Oh, amazing.
Wow. Okay.
That restaurant is on the top in Sevilla. You must when you go there.
Okay. All right, Arjun.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for calling in.
Yeah, see, I'm a replay. I'm a replay crew now.
Oh, you're part of you're part of Replay Crew. Okay, we appreciate it. Well, it's good to know that you're well.
Yeah. Bye, Kempire.
Take care. Bye. All right, we're going to bring up Wendy next. Wendy, what did you want to share about the Real Housewives of Miami?
Hi, Kempire. Long time no hear from.
From you.
I know, but I still be watching you though. Just know I be watching you.
Okay.
But okay. So, am I the only one that was pleasantly surprised how on time Lisa was?
She was
I
barely.
was like, oh, she can be there on time, and she was before a couple of people. I was like, good for you, Hercules. But she was but I was pleasantly surprised by Lisa this episode. I think she had me tripping out the whole episode, and but her being on time, it just had me just cracking up. So that's all I wanted to say. Everybody else said what I wanted to say.
Oh,
so.
damn. Well, thank you, Wendy,
You
for
have a
calling
great
in.
weekend.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Thank you to everyone that called in. We appreciate you guys. Let me just say thank you because we had a couple of super chats. We also had a comment that I want to talk about. Cookie says, the whole purpose of having godparents, I really remember all the fun I had with them. Their roles are to spoil you rotten and take you places. Mine never had kids, so I made up for that. I love them dearly. All right. Dr. Payne, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Dr. Payne says, you make my day, Kempire. You are so authentic and funny. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Payne. I appreciate that. Hope you are well all the way down there in Miami. Sorry. All right. Keith, thank you so much for the super chat. Keith says, old money or new money is better than no money. I just think that Jocelyn Wildstein needs to let this Marcus situation go. No one cares but her. At this particular point, she's unfollowed him. Definitely let it go. Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Kendra says, don't be surprised if Stephanie gets exposed talking to her staff like Jen Shaw next season. Wouldn't shock me. Would not shock me. But we've seen Jen Shaw be horrific on camera, so we weren't completely surprised. All right. Mr. Melon Magic says, Kemp, you're going to be my kid's godfather, hopefully stepdaddy. No, you A mess. All right. Thank you all for the super chats, the Venmos, the Cash Apps, the PayPals, the things like that. We appreciate your support. Shout out to our channel members. We appreciate your monthly support. Become a member today at teamkempire.com/join. And thank you to everyone that's already gotten their live stream ticket for the Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era show that's happening here in New York City on Friday, September 12th, featuring the Brooke Ashley. There's a lot of tea to be spilled. But if you are in New York City or will be in New York City, don't forget there are meet and greets available and in-person tickets available as well. Let's pack out that venue as well. And thank you to everyone. Thank you to our King's Guards for holding us down. We appreciate their support. We're almost at 400 likes. Can we get to 400 likes before I end the live? Maybe. Maybe. Thank you so much, Norma, for the super chat. Norma says, Dr. Nicole is better than Stephanie because she's half Puerto Rican by her mother's side. And the other half is Cuban, right? Let's not get into these wars, okay? These culture wars, all right? All right. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I will see you all in the next one. Bye, y'all.